we're back to Jesus and his death for us. Took away all of our mistakes, all of our sins.
Bursting into the limelight in 2012, Phil and Kay Robertson attracted the adoration of fans with their show, Duck Dynasty. The show had such a winning formula, it earned the status of the most watched non-fiction cable series in history. While many tuned in for duck hunting, most stayed for the family intrigue. But behind the perfect family image were controversies, infidelity, and a tragic diagnosis that would change everything. Now Phil is saying goodbye. What made the Duck Dynasty so popular? What is this diagnosis? Let's take a look at the Duck Dynasty and why Phil Robertson is saying goodbye. The Commanders of the Duck Dynasty. Born in Vivian, Louisiana on April 24, 1946, Phil Alexander Robertson is the fifth child of Merritt and James Robertson. A year after, on December 21, 1947, and just 127 miles away, Marcia Kay Caraway Robertson, better known as Miss Kay, was born in West Monroe, Louisiana. Phil's early years on Earth were not exactly a bed of perfumed roses. His family lived in rough times without electricity, a toilet, or a bathtub as a result of financial hardships. The family mostly relied on the produce they grew in their garden, the meat they caught from hunting deer, squirrels, fish, and other game and fishing activities. They also reared pigs, chickens, and cattle, and didn't often go into town to buy groceries. Phil writes in his book, Happy, 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 that as a little boy growing up in the 1950s, it felt like the 1850s. Nevertheless, and despite the abysmal situation, the family was always happy. Anyone seeing the family could never have guessed that Phil would go on to become a successful businessman, professional hunter, and reality TV celebrity on the hit show Duck Dynasty. So how did Phil become such a famous and wealthy person with a beautiful family? Let's find out. Despite the hardship, Phil kept his head down and made it through school.
I think I was about a year in. I repented at 28.
On the way, he developed a love for football. Being an all-state player in football, baseball, and track during his high school years allowed Phil to attend Louisiana Tech University in Ruston on a football scholarship in the late 1960s. He was the starting quarterback for the Bulldogs at Tech, starting before Pro Football Hall of Famer Terry Bradshaw, who was selected first overall in the 1970 NFL Draft. Upon Bradshaw's arrival at Tech in 1966, the football sensation from neighboring Shreveport, Missouri, generated a media frenzy. Phil was ahead of Bradshaw by a year, having started in both of the 1966 and 1967 seasons and choosing not to play in 1968. Although it was believed Phil had the makings of a professional athlete, he was more interested in hunting. Here was a man with multiple talents and passions. Regarding Phil Robertson's passion for hunting, Bradshaw famously said, "Phil Robertson loved hunting more than he loved football. With duck feathers on his pants and squirrel tails hanging out of his pockets, he had come straight from the woods to practice. He was obviously a skilled shooter, so nobody voiced many complaints." It is therefore not surprising that Phil made the decision he did when he came to that fork in the road. He turned down Paul Harvey's offer to play professionally for the Washington Redskins because football interfered with his hunting. In his own words, Phil said rather wittingly, "Terry went for the Bucks, and I chased after the Ducks."
Only if you will sit down and let me share the good news of Jesus with you.
Later, Phil earned a bachelor's in physical education and a master's in education. While very little is recorded about Kay's time in school, it seems she had a wonderful time, as she was even a cheerleader and a debutante in high school. In 1964, Kay started dating Phil Robertson, and the two got married 2 years later. The Robertsons were hailed as a long-standing, rock-solid marriage in a 2013 editorial by Yahoo TV contributor Kelly Wu, despite early issues in their marriage brought on by Phil's philandering, substance abuse, and rock and roll lifestyle. According to some accounts, Kay was 16 when she got married, while others claim she was 17 when she gave birth to Alan, her first son. Alan revealed in an Unashamed podcast episode that she was 15 years old when she gave birth to him, suggesting she was born in 1950. Kay and Phil have 16 grandchildren and a few great-grandchildren in addition to their 4 sons, Alan, Jace, Willie, and Jep. Launch of Duck Commander. What started in a ramshackle boat slowly became a multi-million-dollar company. Phil had started Duck Commander with literally nothing but a passion for hunting. He had worked for 25 years in Louisiana cedar trees manufacturing duck calls. He could not have understood how big his company would become over time. Located in West Monroe, Louisiana, Duck Commander is a hunting and outdoor leisure corporation. Phil Robertson founded the business and created and patented the Duck Commander, the name of the company's duck call. Willie Robertson, Phil and Miss Kay's third son, is now the CEO of the business. Willie grew the company into a multi-million-dollar operation with the help of his wife, Corey. In addition to duck hunting gear, they provide fishing gear under the Fin Commander brand, turkey hunting gear under the Strut Commander brand, and deer hunting gear under the Buck Commander name. Duck Commander and its associated businesses and media empire have inspired a plethora of toy and fashion products. This covers shirts, stuffed animals, Funko figurines, Halloween outfits, and so on. The Robertson family and company are well known due to their media franchise, which has produced several shows throughout the years. Books, video games, toys, and television shows including Duck Commander, Buck Commander, Fin Commander, and the reality television series Duck Dynasty on A&E and Fox Entertainment's Duck Family Treasure are just a few examples. The Blind, a theatrical film about the patriarch Phil and matriarch Kay Robertson, was released in 2023. Additionally, they have their podcasts, which are presented by Sadie Robertson on Whoa, That's Good Podcast, Phil, Jace, and Alan on Unashamed, and Cy, Martin, and Godwin on Duck Call Room. Duck Dynasty, a massive hit. Phil was a teacher for a while before turning to commercial fishing. In 1975, he had a period of time when he managed a bar. This was a dark period for him that led to his separation from his wife. He claims that throughout this dark period he came to know Christ and made amends with his wife. Phil was not happy with the state of duck calls because he was an enthusiastic duck hunter. He sought to improve it and started experimenting with calls that would mimic the precise sound of a duck. In 1972, he created his first Duck Commander call. For this call, he was granted a patent, and in 1973, the Duck Commander Company was established, and this started the family on a path to wealth and fame. However, things drastically changed for the Robertsons when they started their show, Duck Dynasty. The reality television program ran on A&E from 2012 to 2017. The Robertson family, who rose to prominence through their family-run company, Duck Commander, is shown in the series as successful individuals. The company, located in West Monroe, Louisiana, produces goods for duck hunters, the main item being the Duck Commander duck call. Unlike other reality television shows, the episodes are organized in a sitcom story framework, which has contributed to its ongoing success in syndication. The show's poster characters are the bearded Robertsons, brothers Phil and Cy, and Phil's sons Jace, Willie, and Jep. However, the main cast also includes the Robertsons' wives, Miss Kay.
So we get it all the way from the Gulf. I've got somebody that goes down and gets it at a market there.
Corey, Missy, and Jessica Robertson, as well as their co-workers Martin and Godwin, radio host Mountain Man, and the Robertson children, Sadie, John Luke, Bella, Willie Jr., Mia, Reed, and others. The family has been on Duckman, Benelli presents Duck Commander on Outdoor Channel, and its Buck Commander spin-off. Duck Dynasty became a serious hit amongst fans. With 11.8 million viewers, the 2013 fourth season premiere of Till Duck Do Us Part became the most-watched non-fiction cable series in history. It also received the highest rating of 5.0 out of all A&E telecasts. For the first 9 months of 2013, the show's advertising sales brought in $80 million, and sales of products brought in an additional $400 million. For some reason, the program about the Robertson family's life kept setting and breaking records. The Season 2 finale, an hour-long Christmas special, debuted on December 5, 2012, and at the time was the most-watched A&E episode in the network's history. With 8.9 million viewers on February 27, 2013, the Season 3 premiere beat the Season 2 finale to become the most-watched series in network history at the time. 5 million of those viewers were in the adults 25 to 54 demographic, and 5 million were in the adults 18 to 49 category. The highest-rated telecast in A&E history, the one-hour Season 3 finale aired on April 24, 2013, drew 9.6 million people, of whom 5.6 million belonged to the adults 25 to 54 demographic and 5.5 million to the adults 18 to 49 category. The Season 4 debut attracted 11.8 million people overall, up 37% from the Season 3 premiere, with 6.3 million viewers in the adults 25 to 54 category. This made it the most-watched non-fiction series aired in the history of cable television. The Hollywood Reporter states that 9.4 million people watched the fourth season on average. Data provided by Yahoo Web trend specialist Carolyn Clark shows that the most popular celebrity pop culture-themed costume searches on Yahoo in October were for Duck Dynasty. The program has an average of 8.3 million viewers as of October 17, 2014. Interestingly, the show's devoted audience had several things in common. An announcement from E! Online states that the show's Facebook viewership is primarily Republican. According to a 2000 New York Times study, the Duck Dynasty was the prototypical example of a show that is most popular in rural areas. Of the 50 shows with the most Facebook likes, there was a greater association between fandom and the percentage of voters who supported billionaire Donald Trump than there was for any other. It was least popular in the Northeast U.S. and most popular in rural areas of Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. In the Philippines, there is a cult following for both the show and its franchise. The show came to an end on March 29, 2017, after 11 seasons, with the hour-long end-of-an-era finale. C. Robertson and ZZ Top performed the theme song Sharp Dressed Man to crown the program. With such massive success, what made the A&E network nearly pull the plug and suspend Phil from its network? Let's get into it. Controversies. However, the Robertsons, particularly Phil, were not without controversies. A&E said on December 18, 2013, that Phil would be suspended indefinitely from the network after he spoke with Drew Magary of GQ. In the interview for the feature piece What the Duck, that was published in GQ's January 2014 issue, Phil was asked what he believed to be wicked, and he said, "Start with homosexual behavior and just morph out from there. Bestiality, indulging in carnal relations with these and those women and those men." In that interview, he told people not to be deceived, paraphrasing a biblical text from 1 Corinthians. "The kingdom of God will not belong to adulterers, idolaters, male prostitutes, homosexual offenders, selfish people, intoxicated people, slanderers, or con artists." Phil emphasized that the scripture was accurate and that no one should act a fool. Phil questioned the attraction of same-sex relationships as well, claiming that a man should find a vagina more attractive. Robertson stated that God makes all the judgment decisions, adding, "We just love them. Give them the good news about Jesus, whether they're terrorists, intoxicated, or homosexuals." A&E issued a statement from Phil stating, "I would never treat anyone with disrespect just because they are different from me," in response to the initial criticism. The network declared his suspension later that day. Before any episodes were impacted and less than 10 days later, A&E lifted the suspension in response to a massive protest from supporters, which included statements from political figures denouncing the action and a Facebook page that amassed 1.5 million likes. Following his interview with GQ, Phil reiterated his statement that Jesus will take away sins.
"I walk with God, therefore I'm never alone."
In the first public interview, "He'll take it away if you're gay. What's the difference between being a liar and an adulterer?" After Robertson's comments were publicized by the media, opinions were divided. His right to hold such views was defended by a large number of social conservatives, including his corporate backers, certain religious organizations, and some Republican politicians like Sarah Palin, Bobby Jindal, and Mike Huckabee. Phil encountered a lot of backlash from those who thought his remarks were prejudiced and anti-gay. Following the reversal of Robertson's suspension, A&E expressed regret about Phil's use of coarse language when discussing body parts and announced that a public service announcement would be distributed throughout the channel's entire portfolio to encourage tolerance and acceptance among all people. The reinstatement and message, according to a human rights campaign representative, were excellent steps that highlight the real harm that such anti-gay and racist comments can cause. Bobby Jindal, the governor of Louisiana, made a statement regarding tolerance of religious views. But Phil couldn't stop putting his foot in his mouth and offending people. After receiving the 2015 Breitbart Defender of the First Amendment Award, Phil made more divisive remarks. Robertson claimed that STDs are a hangover from the days of the beatniks, hippies, Nazis, and communists in a half-hour speech at CPAC. A lengthy and detailed story about an atheist and his family being slaughtered was also shared by him. According to the story, the attackers would respond, "But you're the one who says there is no God, there is no right, there is no wrong, so we're just having fun." It makes sense that his remarks went viral. According to Phil, during an interview with Sports Spectrum, a Christian sports magazine, he confronted the show's editors after they told him and his family not to mention Jesus' name during the show's closing prayer. They also added bleep censors at random points in the cast's spontaneous conversation. Even though there was no profanity spoken, Phil believed that the prayers were being censored to prevent insulting non-Christian religious people. He also claimed that the problems were a result of what is sometimes referred to as spiritual warfare, and that no swearing needed to be removed. A&E did not respond to the allegations. Religion and politics. Phil and his family have never shied away from religion. As an elder and devoted follower of Christ, Phil is vocal about his convictions and attends the White's Ferry Road Church of Christ in West Monroe. In his 20s, he experienced several personal issues, such as binge drinking excessively, which led to a temporary divorce. He attributes his ability to get over these issues to a religious epiphany that followed his dark times. Phil has declared that abortion is against the Declaration of Independence and is against it. When he makes public appearances, he frequently discusses the matter and is not afraid of ruffling feathers. Robertson and co-author Mark Schlabach released the memoir Happy, Happy, Happy in 2013. Phil produced a TV ad in support of Republican Vance McAllister in a 2013 special election running for Louisiana's 5th congressional district, which is home to the Robertson family. Never having held public office, McAllister overcame State Senator Neil Reiser, who was widely believed to be the frontrunner. Many credited the Robertson endorsement for giving McAllister a strong come-from-behind victory. Phil Robertson supported Ted Cruz for president in 2016. He then supported Donald Trump for president while at Cannes, following Cruz's withdrawal from the campaign. He supported Roy Moore in the 2017 Alabama runoff election for the U.S. Senate. He went to one of his primary rallies and spoke there in defense of the Ten Commandments, arguing that they should remain on display in courtrooms. The Duck Dynasty patriarch took over as chairman of the American Legacy Center's Fight for the Court project in December 2016 or January 2017. Ben Carson had resigned from the role and Phil aimed to fill his vacant seat. Health challenges in the Robertsons. Robertson's mouth and lips were injured during an attack on June 2021 by her pet dog, Bobo. In the middle of the night, Phil told the listeners of his Unashamed podcast that his wife came to him with a cloth on her lips and said she had to go to the hospital. "I told them to move that rag for a minute," Phil remembered. She removes the face cloth from her, and as I look at her upper lip, it's divided into two parts, about 1/4 of an inch apart. It appears that the bite occurred as Kay was getting ready for bed and bent to kiss Bobo goodnight, startling the sleeping dog and making him snap at Kay. In that podcast episode, Phil said that he had told his wife, although lightheartedly, to let sleeping dogs lie. After that, Phil went on to discuss the family's plans for their dog Bobo, who is now older than he was at the height of the Duck Dynasty, and has cataracts in his eyes as a result of previous snake bites. Alan Robertson, Kay and Phil's son, stated that Bobo is probably going to stay for a while. Recounting what his mother did after the accident, he said, "First thing she told Dad when she came in, she said, 'I just want you to know that Bobo met me at the truck, and he apologized.'" Kay healed from her wounds at home. She stated that she was following a liquid diet and that she would eventually require reconstructive surgery to fix her lips. In 2024, speculation surfaced that the matriarch of the well-known reality TV series Duck Dynasty, the Robertson family, suffered from a rare illness known as idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, IPF. Breathing becomes difficult due to lung scarring caused by IPF, a chronic lung condition. Although the precise origin of IPF is unknown, a mix of environmental and genetic factors are considered to be responsible. IPF cannot be cured, although treatment can assist in delaying the illness's course and enhancing quality of life. According to the report, Kay Robertson was given an IPF diagnosis in 2017 and has chosen to maintain her optimistic outlook despite the crippling nature of her illness. Interestingly, Phil shared on Instagram on March 2023 that his wife, Miss Kay, had been in the hospital, and they were both eagerly awaiting her return home. He assured his followers that she was improving and desired to leave the rehabilitation facility just as much as he wanted her back. Phil openly admitted there was a period when he was deeply entrenched in substance abuse, so far gone he couldn't imagine ever returning to Miss Kay and their sons. He confessed to pushing them away and succumbing to darkness whenever shame or guilt threatened to expose his wrongdoings. In this Instagram post, Phil emphasized that the enemy thrives on making people feel crushed by their sins. However, he offered a message of hope, declaring that anyone, truly anyone, can be free from that burden through faith in Jesus. He concluded by stating that his story of overcoming substance abuse could be theirs too. On April 27th, Phil took to Instagram to share a powerful story about his son Alan's wife, Lisa. Lisa, according to Phil, was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. Despite the difficult news, Phil recounted her remarkable response. Instead of questioning, "Why me?" the caption said Lisa responded with, "Why not me?" Phil went on to praise Lisa's unwavering faith, highlighting how she expressed gratitude to God and prayed that this experience would ultimately bless others. The Robertsons are a large and diverse family. Apart from Phil and Kay, the Robertsons, together with their 4 sons, Alan, Jace, Willie, and Jep, have 16 grandchildren and a few great-grandchildren. Who makes up the Robertsons' large and successful family? Let's investigate. The Robertson family members. Marshall Allen Robertson, the oldest son of Phil and Kay, is first on the list. After leaving the family business to pursue a calling as a preacher, Allen returned to work for Duck Commander as a public relations representative and has been a cast member since Season 4. In an effort to reach a wider audience for the gospel, he decided to appear on the hit TV reality show. On November 9, 1984, Allen tied the knot with Lisa Robertson. Interestingly, he is the only adult guy in the family without facial hair. Jason Silas Jace Robertson is the second son of Phil and Miss Kay. At Duck Commander, he oversees the manufacturing division. Jace tunes the duck calls by hand, along with other staff members. He has 3 children with his spouse, Missy. Duck Commander's CEO, Willie Jess Robertson, is the third son of Phil and Miss Kay. Willie graduated from Louisiana University with a bachelor's degree in health and human performance with a business emphasis. Duck Commander was a family business until he turned it into a multi-million-dollar enterprise. He has 6 children with his wife, Corey. The youngest son of Phil and Miss Kay, Jules Jephthah Jep Robertson, films and edits DVDs of the Robertson family's duck hunts. He frequently attends family dinners. Jep and Jessica are parents to 5 kids, in front of almost 2 million viewers on January 20, 2016, the debut of their spin-off series Jep and Jessica. Growing the dynasty, they revealed the newest member of their family, an adopted son they called Jules Augustus, nicknamed Gus. Jace and Missy's eldest kid, Reed Robertson, played baseball and football at Ouachita Christian High School, just like his grandfather. In Season 6, his graduation is seen. He is married to Brighton Thompson and presently enrolled at Harding University. Season 11 features their wedding. His career as a musician began in Nashville. It was revealed in June 2021 that he and Brighton were expecting a daughter. Jace and Missy's second son, Cole Robertson, played baseball and went to Ouachita Christian High School. In Season 10, his graduation is seen. Mia Robertson is Jace and Missy's only child and youngest child. She underwent 6 surgeries to fix her cleft lip and palate, which was a birth defect as of the conclusion of Season 9. After Rebecca, John Luke Robertson is the second oldest kid in the family and the son of Willie and Corey. After finishing high school at Ouachita Christian, he enrolled at Liberty University. John Luke has been the director of Camp Chio-Ka, a Christian summer camp located in Calhoun, Louisiana, since the summer of 2019. He and his spouse, Mary Kate, had John Shepard, a son, in October 2019. They announced Ella's birth on April 2021. Mary Kate Robertson is the spouse of John Luke. On June 28, 2015, Mary Kate and John Luke tied the knot. She studied women's leadership at Liberty University as well. Willie and Corey Robertson's daughter, Sadie, went to Ouachita Christian High School. In Season 10, her graduation is displayed. Sadie is now a well-known author and speaker. Since November 25, 2019, she and Christian Huff have been wed. It was revealed in 2020 that she was expecting a girl for her first child. She and her spouse welcomed a daughter, Honey James Huff, on May 11, 2021. They welcomed Haven, their second daughter, on May 22, 2023. Willie and Corey's youngest daughter is Bella Robertson. At the age of 18, she got engaged to her 6-month boyfriend Jacob Mayo in November 2020. On June 5, 2021, she wed him. Willie and Corey's foster daughter is Rebecca Robertson. When Rebecca was a Taiwanese exchange student, the family welcomed her and still thinks of her as a member of the family. After finishing a 2-year fashion internship in Southern California, she moved home to West Monroe and launched a clothes business. On December 3, 2016, she wed John Reed Laughlin in Mexico. A son was born to Rebecca and John Reed on January 11, 2019. On December 24, 2021, a daughter was born. Willie and Corey's adopted kid is named Willie Robertson Jr. When little Will was only 5 weeks old, he became a member of the Robertson family as their first adopted son. Since Will isn't as involved in the family company as other of his siblings are, he isn't a regular on Duck Dynasty and only makes sporadic appearances. Willie and Corey's adopted kid is named Rowdy Robertson. Season 11 shows the completion of his adoption. Last but not least on this Robertson family list is Cy. Born on April 27, 1948, Silas Merritt, Cy Robertson, is the brother of Phil, a veteran of the Vietnam War, and the uncle to Phil's 4 sons from Miss K. Cy was employed at Duck Commander, where he made the reeds used in each duck call. Alongside Willie Robertson, Cy may be seen in the second spin-off of the show Going Searal, where he learns about the internet. On May 28, 2020, it was disclosed that Phil had discovered that an affair he had in the 1970s resulted in a daughter named Phyllis. Legacy of the Robertsons. Despite her health battles, Miss K is determined to live her life to the fullest. After a hard day's work, Miss K frequently invites her entire family around for home-cooked food because she loves to cook. Miss K's Duck Commander. Kitchen, Faith, Family, and Food. Bringing Our Home to Your Table are cookbooks that she wrote. The Blind is a movie that Willie, K's son, and his wife, Corey Robertson, released in 2023. The life story of Kay and Phil is at the heart of the movie. The movie's central topic centers on Phil's battle with alcoholism and adultery, as well as how God preserved their family. Phil himself is no stranger to the cinema. He appeared in the movie Torchbearer, directed by Steve Bannon, where he discusses the ridiculousness of existence without God and uses historical occurrences like the Holocaust to support his arguments. Phil began contributing to CRTV in October 2017 and hosts In the Woods with Phil. Say what you want about the Robertsons, they have made a name for themselves and are certainly a force to be reckoned with. The West Monroe-based family continues to be a beacon of light to as many as would let them and has grown from Phil's very humble beginnings. Thanks for watching. Before you go, don't forget to like and comment under this video and subscribe to our channel to avoid missing any of our future videos. Click the next video shown on your screen to enjoy more from us.